Elizabeth was born in Mansfield, Louisiana, a small town outside of Shreveport, to a close family of 5: mom, dad, 2 brothers, and Elizabeth. Elizabeth's mom was her hero. When Elizabeth was little, she really wanted to learn ballet, but they couldn't afford the lessons. So her mother brought out their set of encyclopedias, and she and Elizabeth learned ballet together. Her parents and her 1 brother have passed away, but she is still extremely close to her brother David, who still lives in Mansfield on the family farm. Elizabeth graduated from Louisiana State University with a degree in management and administration. In Louisiana, she did title work for gas and oil. After moving to Bellingham, Washington, she needed to pivot because her chosen career was not needed in Washington. She then changed her career and started working for Stewart Title, spending 20-plus years in escrow and title. She rose from escrow officer to escrow manager in Bellingham, then manager for the Stewart Title office in Port Townsend, and back to Bellingham to manage the office she started in, ultimately becoming the sales manager for the western half of the United States. She was awarded the Whatcom County Business Person of the Year in 2002 and awarded the Magnificent Manager Award from Stewart in 2006. After she retired, Elizabeth created a bucket list of items she wanted to do during her retirement. One of the items on that list was to read and work with young children. At the time of retirement, she and her husband Greg lived 6 months in Bellingham and 6 months in the desert. She called all 3 Boys and Girls Clubs organizations, and Scott Robinson from the club in Cathedral City called her back. Elizabeth became involved in the Boys and Girls Club of Cathedral City. She became a fixture at the club, working with then staff member and retired teacher Carol Lang. The club realized that the children they were working with were behind in reading and therefore had a high chance of not graduating. The club started a program to get the kids reading at grade level. She faithfully has come once a week for the last 6 years. She has served on the board of directors for the last 4 years and is the current secretary and is this year's event chair for the club's extravaganza. Elizabeth personifies the old adage, if you want something done, find a busy person. Not only is she involved with the club in Cathedral City, but she also supports the Boys and Girls Club of Bellingham. She has 2 sponsored children in Africa through her work with Child Care Worldwide, who she talks with on a daily basis. Years ago, Elizabeth was serving as a board member for Child Care Worldwide. She traveled to Africa and immediately fell in love with the land and the people, especially the children. She developed an instant bond with Josephine, and a beautiful relationship began. Elizabeth and her husband Greg helped the young girl by paying for school and other needed items. She is now attending pharmacy school. Another of her sponsored children is James. Elizabeth and Greg helped James get through school and helped him build his house. And they were so excited to be attending his wedding last year, but because of COVID, they were unable to do that. Over the last few years, the grants have set up endowments for scholarships so students can have access to learning in other aspects of life. They include George Fox University, Newberg, Oregon, Grant Family Endowment for scholarships in the human health field, Western Washington University, Gregory and Elizabeth Grant Endowment Fund for the Business College, annual scholarships for students who otherwise might not be able to attend. The Firs, a non-denominational camp and conference center, Bellingham, Washington, the Grant Family Campership Fund, endowment to send kids to camp who otherwise would not be able to afford to go, the Douglas Anderson Scholarship Fund, and SETECA in Guatemala City, Guatemala, 30-plus years of scholarships to seminary students. And finally, the Boys and Girls Club of Cathedral City. Elizabeth and Greg are also Boys and Girls Club of America's Jeremiah Milbanks donors to the Boys and Girls Club of Whatcom County, as well as for the local club here in Cathedral City. In her spare time, Elizabeth is an avid golfer and hiker. She loves to sing and is a member of the Festival Singers and Palm Desert Bell Ringing Choir. We're very proud to introduce and ask her to join me here on stage, the extraordinary Elizabeth Grant.